Hello, everyone. I hope you are all enjoying your break. So well deserved. You've all been doing such a wonderful job and have dedicated so much time and effort to the semester. You're all doing wonderful. And I hope you have a safe, relaxing, non stressful break and you're able to recover and come back motivated and 10 times stronger just to finish up the semester strong. So, with that said, we're going to get started with this little video tutorial. We will be covering a couple of topics that have been requested by all of you, or that we unfortunately haven't had the time to really go through in depth during our peer mentor mentee meetings. That way, if you have any questions about any of these topics, or if there's anything else you'd like to learn, you can let me know and I can keep making more videos like this just to help you out, things that you can reference in the future. Alrighty? So, with that said, the themes that we'll be talking about today will be a little bit of course selection. Um, this will be important, especially if you haven't selected your courses, if you're in the process of selecting courses. If you haven't selected them, it will also come in handy just to give you a few reminders for next semester, especially as you select your courses for your sophomore year here at college. So it may be helpful. We will also be talking about calculating your GPA. Once again, it connects to your course enrollment, understanding how you're doing right now, what you need to improve upon, what grades you need to get a desired GPA, which may affect getting future scholarships, stuff of that sorts. It will all be very important. So we will also be talking about how to do that through my slides. Then we will also segue into talking about Orange Success and how we will use that to find midterm and final semester reports, which is the feedback you receive from your professors, from your TAs. And those are things that you may want to incorporate to keep improving in your classes and get those good grades that we all want. So some of you may have feedback, some of you may not, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to explain to you how to locate that and the importance of that. And then lastly, we will be talking a little bit about Handshake as well. Okay? Very, very important around this time of the semester because this is the peak time in which we have positions in research, internship, part-time jobs, all coming out available for the spring semester. This is around the time you're supposed to start looking to apply for those positions, begin working on your resume, on your cover letter, and additional materials to get those jobs that you want. Because, as a reminder, if you don't do that right now, you may be very unlikely to land a job for the spring semester or even for the summer. So, usually, jobs and opportunities, professional opportunities, majority of them become mostly available towards the end of every semester. Okay, so begin doing that search now, and I will show you exactly how to go about that to ease a little bit of the anxiety, questions, nerves that you may feel around that. So, we got lots to cover. Feel free to reach out to me through our group chat or in private if you have any questions, doubts, concerns about anything. If you're confused about anything, I'll be happy to make another video, to make videos on different topics, or to clarify any questions. Okay? So, with that said, let's get started. Let's begin talking about course enrollment, right? Today, I will be using my slides of a friend who is a transfer student. So, somewhat like you all, he's starting off with a blank GPA. So, he doesn't have a GPA, right? He doesn't have any sort of grades yet. It's very blank. So, it will look very similar to how all of you are starting off from scratch. All right. So, this is going to be very helpful so that you get a sense of how to go about your different situations in which we're starting off with a GPA that's 0, how we're going to turn that 0 into a 4.0, into a 3.7, whatever it is that you're looking for, right? Couple of things, I've talked about this in the past. When preparing for your courses, be sure that you know your date and time of enrollment. Okay, you may already had to experience this during your first time of selecting courses for this semester, but we're just going to briefly review it. We're going to go down to enrollment. From enrollment, we're going to go to enrollment dates. You're going to select the desired semester for which you're going to select class fours. So that would be the spring 2024 next semester. So in this case, his enrollment date was November 15 at 11 a.m. So it already passed. He already selected his courses. Great. Why does this enrollment date look so different from all of you when you're both starting off from scratch, right? Enrollment date is defined based on a few factors. Number one, the amount of credits that you already have. He came in with credits from community college that affects when he's going to be enrolling. Number two, the amount of credits that you are already taking. That also affects it. Number three, the program that you belong to. Certain programs in college have earlier enrollment dates. Other programs have later enrollment dates. It depends of how selective the classes within those programs are. Do they run out quickly? Does everyone enroll in that specific program and it's really hard to get students to get those courses that they need to graduate? If so, they will most likely have an earlier enrollment date. Also, other things such as, are you part of the honors program? Are you a resident advisor, right? Do you have some sort of job that requires you to book certain dates when you cannot have classes? For example, when you're an RA, you cannot have classes Wednesday nights because that's when we have our staff meetings, right? When you are in the honors program, you must enroll in a certain number of honors courses. Therefore, you cannot really wait last minute to enroll, so they give you an early enrollment date. So all of that will impact your specific date and time, and that's why it may look different from your other peers, your classmates, other people in your major. So be sure that you're not relying on other people's enrollment date and time. Be sure that you know your specific enrollment date and time, and that you are setting yourself reminders way in advance and alarms of when that will happen. So if your enrollment date is at 11 a.m., you probably should be up an hour in advance just so that you can review everything, familiarize with the website, be comfortable. 5 minutes beforehand, already know how you're going to go about this. And at the exact time, 11 a.m., that is when you enroll. If you try to do it a minute earlier, it will not work. It works at exactly 11 a.m. if that is your time. Okay? So, with that said, other important tips. Okay? Be sure that you have a backup schedule planned. Many times, since multiple people have the same enrollment date, because they may have the same number of credits as you, they may want to enroll in the same courses and they will run out quickly. You should have at least another alternative schedule. Okay? Pay attention when you're looking for your courses in class search, that you are selecting the semester again that you are looking those courses for, and that you know, let's say, that you know exactly how much space there is in those classes. For example, this class only has 2 available seats. So be very careful that you are enrolling for classes that have enough availability. And if they don't have enough availability, have a backup plan. Very, very important. Okay? Have alternatives. Once you have selected the courses you like, you will go to Schedule Builder. It will take its sweet time loading. And there you will see all the classes you've selected and put on your shopping cart, and you can select each and every one manually to make a simulation schedule, right? You hear me? We have multiple classes. I know some of them really conflict with each other. So, for example, if I put this once, it will say there was an error. One or more classes interfere with one another, right? It will say to you exactly if your classes just don't align. But we also have a sample here that we can view. This is an example of one of the schedules that my friend was looking for. So that way you will know, will I be able to handle this many classes the semester? How different does it look from the schedule that I have right now? Do I have enough time between classes? Those are all things you will want to consider. Take in mind what worked this semester, what didn't. Did you feel like you had enough time between classes to go and grab a bite to eat? Did you feel that you had enough time to yourself? Did you feel like your schedule was too much and you were struggling to find time to do homework? All of those things that you learned from this semester, apply them as changes, additions, modifications to your schedule next semester. Okay? So, with that said, we've talked about all the important reminders. Just last thing, be sure that once you have an idea of what your schedule will look like, how you want it to look like, you are setting up an appointment with your advisor. Because if you don't, you will find that there is a hold in your account. It would say one hold. If you have a hold in your account, you will not be allowed to enroll in your courses. It's very, very important that it shows in here no holds. Okay? Holds can be because you haven't met with your advisor to run through with them what are those courses? Do they meet your requirements for your major, for the arts curriculum? If they don't, they will not approve it and they will not take away the hold. Other holds will be because you haven't been paying your SU bills and stuff of that sort, because you borrowed something from the library and you haven't returned it in that semester. So lots of different things can cause holds. It will say in there and who you have to reach out to resolve the hold. So be sure that you've addressed that. Otherwise, it will create an obstacle when enrolling for courses. Okay. Another very important thing when we go to advising, you'll be able to see degree works, which I can show you here. So in degree works, we can see, for example, in this case of my friend, he is a transfer student. He has a GPA of 0, same as all of you, right? He has transfer credit from other institutions. Okay. And these are some of the credits he's taking. In degree works, you can use this tool, which is what if. You will play around with the settings and you're able to add the courses that you wish to take next semester. If you have transfer credit, your transfer credit would not show up once you run the simulation. Okay? And that's okay. So keep that in mind. But it will say, okay, you met one of your major requirements. You met one of your arts and sciences requirements, your curriculum requirements, whatever it is, it will show it to you if it met that requirement or if it didn't. All right. So that's when degree works will come in very handy. Now, that's all we had to run through when it comes to course enrollment. Yeah. And be sure if you need more details on this, specifically for psychology majors, I already did a video tutorial going more in depth into this. So take a look at that. I also broke down a little bit of the psychology major requirements and the core curriculum requirements for the College of Arts and Sciences. So refer to that video for more details. Now we will move on to how to find your midterm progress reports. Okay. To do this, we will transition to my slice, the one that belongs to me. Okay. And we will go to advising. Then we will head to Orange Success. We'll log in. Hopefully, it won't give me any issues. I hate when it does that. Bear with me, technology. There we go. Okay, we should be in any minute now. So, once you've logged in into your Orange Success, you will be able to see a network of all the people who have some sort of connection with you. Faculty advisors, for example, I have my honor advisor here. I have my resident director, who is my boss since I am a resident advisor. Financial aid counselors, I have all of my instructors. I have my academic and college advisor, all of those good stuff. Okay. You will click on this menu right here, and then you will go to courses. In my case, you won't see it here because most of my professors don't really give feedback in this formal way, but usually first year students will get feedback and it will show up here. It will say in a note what how the semester is going, how they think you're doing in the class, what they think should be improved. For example, if you're not doing that well on exams, if you're not doing well on attendance, if they're concerned about anything, sometimes it could just be very positive things like saluting you on your perfect attendance or doing very great in the class, all those sorts of stuff. But all of your instructors, from professors to teaching assistants, will all be here and all their feedback as well. This is very important. Again, if you're unsure of how you're doing, you should also have gotten some sort of email if you did get the feedback. If you don't have any feedback, that's totally fine as well. And you most likely didn't get an email. But this will come in handy in the future. Okay. If you don't have feedback right now, you will most likely have feedback upcoming semesters. It really varies and depends on professors, and most of the feedback usually goes towards first year students. Okay. Again, in here, I've told you all the tool in the past. You can also use this to request help of many different kinds of issues that you may come across, like roommate conflicts, needing something urgent from your advisor, needing accommodations. Remember, accommodations can come in handy anytime. If you get sick, if you have an injury, if you have a learning disability, if you're struggling with something personal that is interfering in your education, all of that could apply as an accommodation. If you need help with courses, if you're having trouble managing money or adjusting to college, all sorts of things could be reported here. It's an easier tool to link you to the help you need. We've talked about this during our peer mentor mentee meetings. So this is another helpful tool of Orange Success. Okay, it's a direct link to all of your network while also smooth transition to get help if you don't know where to start. Okay, so be sure that you're checking it out. It's very helpful. And now we will transition into how to calculate your GPA. So for that, we will come back to our friends My Slice. Okay. In here, we will go to our main menu. Before I actually explained to you all how to calculate your GPA using My Slice. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of room because I know that there's lots of emphasis around GPA and assessing, being used as a form to assess your academic performance. But as a reminder, I want to let you all know that GPA is not a definite way to define who you are as a person. So please don't let it discourage you. Don't let it put you down, especially first semester. It is very normal to see a GPA that may not be the one that you expected it to be. It's totally okay. Don't don't put yourself down because of it. Okay? Having a good GPA, it's wonderful when it comes to applying to graduate school or jobs or advanced courses. It's a great assessment of how you're doing at the moment. But you also have to know that it's not going to entirely limit you and your ability to apply for these opportunities, because you will always have room to explain, here's what happened, I struggle this way, or here I maybe didn't start it off that strong, but I picked myself back up and I improved and everything's good now. So there's always that second chance to get better, to keep growing, okay? So you don't miss out on grad school, jobs, scholarships, all of that good stuff, okay? Just remember that it's okay if your GPA right now is not the best this semester. The more semesters you go, the higher it will get, okay? But again, as I've said, it's also very beneficial for a few things. For example, if you are interested in applying to honors, you need a minimum of 3.4 GPA to remain in good standing with them and to be able to apply. Okay. For example, if you get a 3.7 GPA your first semester of college, you will automatically qualify for scholarships. I can send a flyer with this information as well. Just let me know if you want to see more about it. And those scholarships are permanent, so they roll in every semester, every year, which is also wonderful. And again, for other job opportunities, for example, if you're a resident advisor, which covers your full housing expenses and your dining plan at Syracuse, along with stipends, you will need a minimum of 2.8 to apply, but most likely applicants fall between the 3.0 range of GPA. So lots of opportunities that can be brought in with having a good, strong GPA. Okay. So now let's go step by step on how to do that, right? How to calculate it. Now we are in my slice. We will go to academics. Okay. From academics, we will go to grades. Now I'm just showing you this before we go into the actual GPA. Okay. Here is how you will find your grades for the end of the year. Okay, end of the semester. For example, we're looking for the grades of fall 2023, right? You will click continue. Here's the classes that you're taking. In this example, my friend is taking these courses. And then here's where your GPA will show up. It will show up your cumulative GPA and the GPA for that specific semester right here. Again, for you, since this is your first year, it will look exactly the same because you don't have cumulative GPA will be about the accumulation of your GPA across every semester. Since this is your first semester at college, you don't have a cumulative GPA that is not different from the GPA of your first semester. So don't be alarmed if you just see the same number. That's totally fine. Okay. That's how you will find your ultimate grades. Okay. Now, for actually finding your GPA, we will go to advising. So we will get out of here. We will go to advising. And then we will go to calculate my GPA. You will select here. Here are all the courses you have. For example, we have our friend here has his fall semester courses and the spring semester courses that he has already enrolled for. How this tool works, right now you will all have a 0.0 GPA because you haven't taken any courses here at Syracuse yet, and that's fine. And what you will do is play around a little bit with this tool. Let's say I'm my friend and this is what I think I will get in my classes, okay? In American in the Middle East, let's say I will get an A, right? First year seminar, an A. Digital media culture, I don't know, maybe an A minus, right? Let's say public advocacy, how about a B plus, right? Concepts and communications, I don't know, maybe like a B minus, okay? And then CRS foundations, okay, let's say an A, right? You will click recalculate my GPA, and it will tell you down here what your GPA would look like for that semester if this were your grades. So your GPA would be a 3.5. Okay. That way you can kind of play around. Okay. Let's say what happens if I get all A's? I think you can all imagine what would happen. You would get a 4.0 GPA. Recalculate my GPA, you would get a 4.0. If I get an A minus, you would get a 3.9. You get a little bit of how this is working, right? If I get a B and all A's, you would get a 3.7. Yeah. So it's a lot about math. If you want to add up the actual math of how this works, you can do it by adding actually the grade point numbers that will show up. Most classes, depending on if they're 1 credit, if they are 3 credits, they will be either 4 or 12. Okay, if they're 4 credits, it will be more. You will learn to use this tool the more you practice with it. Okay, you can also just manually clear everything. Okay, and start from scratch, or you can select specifically which courses you're looking for to figuring out the GPA for. And let's say you've already done all of these courses, right? You have your grade. Let's say this is our final grade, right? Right now we have a 3.7 GPA, great. And we want to figure out, we forgot one course. Let's see. Recalculate. There we go. We have a 3.7 GPA for the fall semester. And we want to figure out what do we need to do in order to get a 3.9 next semester or a 3.8, right? So we're going to start to play around with the courses of next semester, right? Let's say this is what we project to have next semester. All A's and 1B. And we're going to recalculate that. Okay, wonderful. We get the 3.8 we wanted. Awesome. That is our goal next semester. All A's, we can afford 1B. Okay. But if we get a C though, let's see what happens. We would drop to a 3.6. So we do not want to have any C's, right? This is just a tool that you can use to assess what's the desired grade, letter grade that you want to have in each and every one of your classes, to see what's the GPA you would like, the GPA that you might have. Once you've had a solid grade in that final grade tool that I showed you on my slides, you will be able to see it listed automatically in here. So once it is published in my slides, it is permanently placed here. And of course, you can try to delete it and everything, but it's done. Once it's set on my slides final grades, it is set on your GPA calculator. Okay? Got it. That's wonderful. So now we know how to use this tool. You can always like clear out. So, again, this is a tool to estimate things. As a reminder, do not heavily rely on Blackboard to assess your final grades. The reason why I tell you this is because Blackboard counts every single assignment as being worth the same amount of points. Meaning that when you have an exam that is worth 40% of your grade and you have a homework assignment that is worth 5% of your grade, for Blackboard, those two things are the exact same percentage. Both of them are worth 100% of the class grade. Yeah. So you can see how that can be very problematic in assessing your actual grade. Be sure that you're not relying just on Blackboard alone to assess, oh, I got an A in this class. Oh, I got a B, right? Be careful with that. Be sure that you are referencing your syllabus, right? Your syllabi. In your syllabi, it would say exactly each assignment is worth this much of your grade. Each exam is worth this much of your grade. That is what you will see, okay? That is how you will assess what your ultimate grade will be. You will have to use a little bit of math. That's okay. Or you can always use an online calculator. This is also very helpful as well, right? Grade calculator, right? In a grade calculator, you can break down the worth of your homework assignments, the worth of your projects, the worth of your midterms. For example, I said this example here, right? This is how you can assess how you're doing and exactly how much you need to get on, for example, an exam to get that ideal grade level that you want. You can find this on the internet if you Google grade calculator, right? So use that to kind of translate what is on your syllabi into an actual grade letter for your classes rather than just relying on Blackboard alone. Some of your professors will even be kind enough to give you their own grade calculator that they created with Excel, and they'll tell you exactly, okay, here it is, just put in the output the grades you currently have for each and every one of the things we've done, and it will automatically tell you what will be your grade. That's wonderful. So use the tools that your professors give you or rely on external tools as well before you go in and start making hypotheses of I'm going to get an A, I'm going to get a B, I'm going to get a C. Okay? Because sometimes your grade may look way lower than it actually is on Blackboard or way higher than it actually is. So be very careful with that. Okay? At the end of the day, just a reminder, your grade on Blackboard is not your finalized grade. Even after even after your professors have put out the grade of your final exam, the actual finalized grade, once they drop exams that they're not going to count, once they give you the extra credit you applied for, once you submitted the late work, all of that, they will put in here in my slice. When you go to academics, grades, fall 2023, here is what you will see your final grade. Okay? If you got an A, B, C, whatever it is, it will be here. Okay? Now you know. And again, when using that tool that I showed you all to calculate your GPA, if you input a letter grade that is non-existent, right? Like an F minus, it will give you an error message. So just be sure that when you're playing around with it, just know exactly what's the letter system because we don't have, for example, A plus. Well, the highest grade you can get is an A, right? Other classes are like pass and fail, but it will change on the system if it's a pass and fail class, right? So that addresses all in terms of grades, enrolling for courses, finding feedback from your professors. Alrighty, we can close this up and move on to Handshake. Okay? So a reminder, jobs in Handshake for internship, research opportunities. part-time jobs on campus and off campus are already posted and available to apply for opportunities this spring semester and the upcoming summer semester. So do not miss out and start looking for them as early as possible. Okay? Start doing the research right now of what you're interested in, what you're not. Be sure that you're carefully reading the descriptions. Okay? Let's say we go here. Let's start from scratch. You will go to jobs after you're logged in into my Handshake. Read the descriptions carefully to see who they are looking for. This one is looking for graduates, so we might not be looking at that, right? This one is undergraduate students, right? Whitman School. Maybe you're not looking for opportunities at Whitman, right? But maybe you are looking for opportunities that work directly at Syracuse University. I've told you all this tip before. Q's works. This will narrow your description quite a lot because it will only give you opportunities that are employers looking for people to work on campus with people who are employing at Syracuse University, right? So, for example, we have other opportunities such as the source, which focuses around research opportunities. So we have upcoming positions in education, and these are paid research opportunities. Okay. Some of them are on site, some of them are online. Okay. We have positions at Barnes. We have more positions with the source. Again, they have multiple different positions that you can do on research. Some of them are not necessarily the typical biology lab where you're looking at cells and doing all the scientific stuff. Some of them, for example, I'm pretty sure I saw one that was related to GPA. Some of them may require different skills like photography, using Photoshop, being able to perform art of some way, um, requiring skills that you wouldn't necessarily see in a STEM related lab, while others are very STEM heavy. So be sure that you know exactly what kind of research you want to involved in, right? Research will come in very handy if you're trying to apply to graduate school or if you want to pursue a career within higher education, like in the future, if you would like to be a college professor. Yeah, beginning to do research, especially as an undergraduate, will give you a head start. Okay? Research is a wonderful thing that I would love to talk more about, but let me know if you'd like me to do another video about that. Remember, I'm doing research for fall college. I've been doing that since my second semester of freshman year. So for a long time now. And it's been wonderful and I love talking about it. So if you want to learn more about how to apply for research opportunities, how the application process works, especially as a freshman, right? I'll be happy to talk about that more. In the Wednesday panel that we did for international students, I talked about this, but I will say it in here as well. Just so you're aware, you do not have to apply for research opportunities that just fall within your major. It is totally fine if you are, let's say, majoring in psychology and you want to do research for, like me, I major in psychology and I wanted to do research for the School of Social Work because it related to something that I had done in the past, working in after school aged care programs, right? Therefore, I made sure to highlight in my application that I had skills working in that field in the past, and that's why I wanted to collaborate in research that explored that, right? That's totally fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be, if you're in a STEM major, it doesn't necessarily need to be STEM focused. It could be politically focused. It could be artistically focused. It could be social work related. It could be anything as long as you're able to use transferable skills from your major or from previous personal experiences that make you passionate and motivated to engage in that research. That is what they're looking for. Someone who will actually dedicate their time to working on that. Because at the end of the day, if you're working for the source, you will be getting paid for doing that research. Okay? You'll be working an average of 4 to 8 hours a week, getting paid $15 an hour, sometimes even more, right? So they want to know that you're driven to do that job, that you actually care. They are not many times, and this is important, many times they're not even necessarily looking for someone that has previous research experience. And the reason why is because they want someone that they're able to train from scratch, someone that doesn't have previous notions of what research is supposed to look like. Many graduate students who have done research in the past already know this is what research is supposed to look like. This is how I did it with my previous research advisor. This is how I'm going to do it. Now, professors don't really love that. They want someone who they can train to do things their way, following their protocols and their expectations. Therefore, if you've seen as someone very driven, passionate to learn, even though you don't have that experience, even though you don't have 20 things on your resume, that's fine. Especially if you are applying for research through the source, it is driven through learning. They are interested in teaching you those skills. They are not necessarily expecting you to have them already. So do not discourage yourself from applying because your resume doesn't have a lot of things on it, because you don't have previous research experience. Apply if it interests you. If it's a topic that you will know you'll be passionate about and you will want to work on weekly basis, yeah, do it. Go for it. You'll never know what opportunities will arise from that. It's a great opportunity, especially if you're going to graduate school. So I would definitely look into that. Okay. There is also other wonderful opportunities that we also discussed in that Wednesday forum panel that I mentioned. One of the other peer mentors works in this one, which I think is great. If many of you are interested, I also want to put it out there. Okay. The Q's work student engagement, event, and technical services crew. This is wonderful if you're interested in more of the media side. Again, you don't necessarily need to be a certain major to apply to this, but it's wonderful because the pay is really good. Okay. And it has flexible schedule. In this, you do kind of similar to what I do in Orange After Dark. You get to choose your own time. Usually it's work on the weekends, weekend nights, right? But it also has opportunities throughout the week as well. You select how many hours you want to work, which events you want to work, and you do the setup, the deconstructing of the event, and all sorts of things like that. It's very interesting. And what is very attractive to many students of this job is that it has professional advancement opportunities and it has paid training to teach you to expand upon skills that you already have or teach you new skills that will make you better capable to join the workforce in different areas. So it can teach you to be a venue manager, it can teach you about sound and lighting, technical effects, about being a part of a stage crew backstage, about doing video and camera work and operating, and about technical directing. So, lots of different opportunities to grow within this job. And currently, it is available and it will become available to apply on December 13th. These positions fill out fast. So, if you're interested in something that is related to media, technology, event setup and coordination, this is a great opportunity that is currently available. There are also opportunities, as I said, within research in financing, in education, in architecture, in marketing. There's in VPA. related to photography. In museum studies, there's opportunities in the Barnes Center. There's lots of things that you could do right now, and more opportunities will become available throughout the end of the semester. But be sure that you are keeping up with your handshake, that you are constantly looking every time that you get those emails saying, oh, we think you would be great for XY position. Okay? You're able to save these jobs. For example, I have 2 jobs saved here, right? You're able to save them, to review them later, to apply to them, all those sort of things. But if you find a great job opportunity that you really, really want, do not wait. Many times when they have more than enough applicants, even though the deadline is, for example, December 8th, they will close up the application mid-November because they have enough applicants. They don't want to have to look through more. So as soon as you find the opportunity, apply immediately. Apply within the day you found it. Do not wait because the following day it may not be available anymore. And you may miss out on great opportunities that may not become available until the end of next semester. So be on the lookout for all of that. Okay? In Handshake, you will also find great events that are related with career guidance, employment, um, how to use how to manage money and budgeting, how to start businesses, related to your major, related to other colleges. This will be very important as you develop professionally. Okay. These are all things you can learn from. So look over those events. I would say once a month at least. Look over what interests you, what you want to learn about, what calls your attention. Sign up for it. See if it aligns with your time and attend those events. Okay? So, with that said, I think we've addressed everything we needed to address. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm sorry for the length of the video, but I hope I covered everything. If anything got a little too confusing, or if you like clarification on anything, please feel free to reach out. Enjoy your break. Have a safe and relaxing break. Have fun and come back prepared for our final meeting. Yes, I know time flies. And to finish up the semester strong. You'll get this. I'm super proud of you. Okay? Bye bye.